Hey everyone! I decided today I want to do a little tutorial on how to make your own alternate future series. But for this video, we're just going to make the map, and yeah, we're just going to make the map. And we're, to pick the country, and we're just going to make a map of just one country. But to duplicate this for like a bigger series for like a continent or whatever, you just pick more land to draw. So the nation we're gonna pick to draw is gonna be decided by this website. We're just gonna do a new random country, and whatever it gives us is the country we're gonna do. Okay, it's disappointing that it's an island, but I guess that makes this a lot easier for me to do. So we're gonna do Jamaica, and to do this, um, what kind of map you want can depend. If you want a specific projection, then I guess you have to do more Googling to get like a good map. To make this simple, I'm just going to use Google Maps. And you might be thinking, how do we get a picture of Jamaica that we could trace in our photo editor, which we're using Photop. And if you're on Windows, then you can very easily just search snipping tool, and you can just use the snipping tool, and you click new, and then you go over what you want. I don't want this. I prefer Google Maps because if I can swap between satellite mode and map mode, and this makes it easier for me to like see the terrain. So like if I was doing a series, I might want to know where the beaches are, where the mountains are. So it's good to have like a picture of like the satellite for a clear boundary, and a picture of the satellite. I meant map, and a picture of the satellite so you can see the geography, and maybe some roads if it's really small. So I'm gonna use snipping tool, and I'm gonna take a snip. And if for whatever reason you don't have snipping tool, you might have a keyboard shortcut that lets you copy the screen. Like I can just press print screen. And for the actual file that we're gonna put this, we're gonna make this map in, I'm gonna do a new project, and I'm gonna make it 1920 by 1080 pixels. And you could name it whatever. I'm just gonna call it example. Example, create. And I chose 1920 by 1080 because that's HD on YouTube. You could do a higher resolution or lower if you want. Uh, the resolution I chose is pretty overkill because we're just doing an island, but hey, we could be really detailed with our picture of Jamaica here. So here's Jamaica, and I did do a print screen, so like I can just copy and paste my print screen onto here, allow clipboard, and there it is. But I'm just going to use snipping tool because it's easier for. So snip tool, new, and it doesn't matter. It's not. I didn't get the whole island there. I need to move this picture a bit. Let's see. I need to zoom it. I want to get as big as a picture I can because I want as much of the border detail that I can get. And then we do a new snip. And we got a snip here. And then when I copy paste the snip into here, and there it is. And then I'm going to set it to satellite and get another snip. And now we have the other snip. And I'm just going to set Jamaica to be in the center. And we got these nice little red guidelines to help us out to center it. And then this layer, I'm going to unhide it, and I'm gonna change the opacity to like 50% so I can get like a good overlay with the Google image. And I'm gonna zoom in a bit to help me out here. And I think if we just line up the text, then we're gonna get like an exact copy. And I'm just gonna change the opacity, and yeah, I think it's exactly on par. They're exactly on top of each other, which is good. And I'm gonna use the actual Google map itself to get my borders. Or, well, it's a choice. You could pick. This might be whatever has like the least amount of text and you can see the border the most well with is what I would pick. This one excludes some islands. I think I'm gonna pick just the border because what? It's an island. It's one island. This is an example. So now we got to decide what kind of border we want. And when doing this, you want to not use anything that is anti-aliasing because it's going to make it hard to change the color of the country. So what I do is I set my brush tool, hover over it, and I click pencil, and then I select the square. So I get just blocks. And more this zoomed in, it looks terrible, but when you're zoomed out, no one's going to notice how it's not anti-aliased. And you can right click with the zoom tool to do pixel to pixel to get what it'll look like when you full screen it. So this is what this is going to look like if this were in an actual video. And when you zoom in, it's bigger. And I'm gonna undo by doing Control Z, or I could press backwards on the history over to the right. So yeah, Control Z, or click the history to undo that. I want to make a new layer. I'm going to put it all the way to the top. I'm going to call it borders. And this is all about choice. The nice thing about Photo P is that the fill tool, if you have your brush set to 1 and then you make I'm going to get black here, and you make like a circle, right? You make a space that you could fill. If you do this in Photo P, it will select only what's inside the circle. While if you did this in like Photoshop, or if you did this in Paint or another image editor, it would probably exit it because it would notice that this isn't like completely solid. But Photo P is more intelligent, so I really like that about Photo P. But I'm going to use borders that are 2 pixels thick, and I click up here and I set it to 2 pixels, so I get a 2 pixel wide pencil brush. And I guess now I'm going to start drawing the borders. And text can get in the way, so for text, I don't know, just guess it. Like, just use logic to see, hey, how does this island move? And then just follow the border. And I guess now I'm going to draw the border of Jamaica. And I guess I'll do a jump cut or something. And some shortcuts for Photo P, because it might suck to like keep clicking these tools to move around and zoom. So if you're like on your pencil tool or whatever, if you hold space, you can move move the camera, and if you hold space and Control, you can zoom in and out. And that's what I always do, rather than using the buttons. And this is just an example. Like if you want more detail here, oh, I forgot the eraser. I'm going to set my eraser to, so let's see. This is not what I want. I want my eraser tool. Mode, there we go. Eraser, pencil. I was confused. Square, I set it to 1 usually. Or you could use the rectangle tool, and then you could right click. No? Well, I just press the delete button. It'll delete it. I don't know the actual button in the UI to make it delete. And again, here, maybe you want a more detailed representation. Maybe you don't just want a blob here. So to do that, you could just set your brush to 1 pixel if you want and do it like this. And remember, you don't have to have it like square like this, because due to Photo P's intelligence, you could just erase this and have smoother curves. And at this scale, well, if you're doing a different series and this was Jamaica, you're already doing overkill. But since it's just Jamaica, this detailing's fine. And erase. And if you want to swap between the brush and the eraser quickly, just press B for brush. And you can tap B multiple times to swap between the different options for your brush. And it's the same with the eraser. You can swap between the different eraser types. So that's what I do instead of pressing the buttons. And I'm going to swap back to a 2 pixel thick border because we got past that part. And again, since this is an example, I'm not going to care that much like that. Like, I don't know where it actually is, but it's really small. No one's going to notice the error. This is an example, so it's not going to be used anyway. But for the map you're going to make, you can have it be however you want. I think I'm following a road here. That's not good. And again, you might just want to use this layer because it also has a road, but it's a bit clearer. And just swap between what you want to use. Brush. I guess I'll fast forward through this. Oh yeah, coming back here, I just copy and paste this image from Google Maps. And if you want to like move an image, you use the move tool top left. And if you want to modify it, then you want to go to edit and then free transform. And there is a shortcut for it, but this shortcut is the dumbest shortcut. It's Control Alt T, and like you can do it, but it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all to do it. So if the creative photo team ever sees this, please change it. It's awful. This is the worst shortcut for one of the most common things I ever use in Photoshop. It's the most common movement thing. Like, I don't understand why the free transform isn't like automatically enabled when you click the move tool, because like it's like when you, this is the default. This is the default in Photoshop, and you always you're gonna have to always resize something whenever you use the move tool. It's like 90% of the time you want to move something. You also want to resize it. Anyways, oh, here's the image I copy pasted. I do edit free transform, and then I hold Control while changing. Oop, nope, Control Z. Edit free transform. I hold Shift so that when I scale it down, it scales correctly, like the ratios kept the same. And the reason I copy pasted this in the first place was because I can't see the border that well in this area of Jamaica. So I'm going to change the opacity and scale this image down so I can make a better border. I'm going to see if I can overlap them. I'm going to turn the opacity up a bit so I can see it a bit better. Keep selecting the move tool by accident. Edit, free transform. I'm going to keep doing this until I can get them to overlap enough. Super close. I think that's like perfect. Yeah, that looks right. Then change the opacity up to high, and I want to follow this to get the border I want. Brush on my borders layer, which I gotta move up now. And I'm gonna use the 1 pixel size, and I guess I'll fast forward after I'm done with this. Hey everyone, I'm back, and I just made a very rough border of Jamaica, trying to be quick about it. So I skipped over some things I saw. And if you wanted to be even more detailed, you could like go around and look for the little spots of water and make borders around that. I'm not going to do that because this is just an example. But yeah, here we got a border, and we can see it all. It's nice. And we may want to fill that border with a special color, and you can be whatever you want. I usually pick like a color from the flag, So we got Jamaica, so I'm gonna get the flag of Jamaica. Jamaica, just search Google, Wikipedia, and in Wikipedia, for like every country ever, they have you just click the flag, click it again, and then you get the file for it. It's an SVG file, and it's really nice. You could use this for any of your mapping projects. Like if you want like a country to talk and you want their flag to show, just Wikipedia's got the flag for you. And for Jamaica, I see green and yellow, so I guess I'll also go with green. I'm just gonna use snipping tool to get the color, and then I Control V to paste it in. And then I click the color over. I'm going to click the background color with my cursor, and then click the green, and then I get it as a color, and then I'll delete the layer by pressing delete, or you could right click the layer and press delete. And then I'm going to get my magic wand tool, and I have it to continuous anti-alias off, tolerance is set to 0. I'm going to click the inside of Jamaica, and then I'm going to click this unite button to make it so if I click again anywhere else, it'll just add more to my selection. And then I'm going to look around for any enclaves I may have, and by that I mean little spaces that aren't connected to the landmass the sector. It's like this island here, it's not selected, so I'm going to select it, and now it's part of my selection, and I'm just going to look around for any stragglers. Yep, see, that's what I'm talking about. I thought I made space here, but I forgot to erase that block. So I'm gonna quickly, I'm just gonna add that. That's all added, and I don't think there's any. Oh yeah, the islands over here. Add that. And if you don't want to look for these enclaves like this little pixel here, I'd recommend just erasing 1 pixel. I'm gonna do that actually after I do this, and I did something wrong. I'm gonna undo that magic wand. There we go. Sorry for about the bell, that was my door. And I think we got all of it. Yep, yeah, I think we did it. And now, to fill it with the color selected, I'm going to do Control Backspace to fill it. You could also click Edit and then Fill, which is Shift F5. Again, another terrible shortcut. Like, has the creator not used these shortcuts? But, yeah, and if you don't want to do... Wait, I'm confused. It says... because to fill with the front ground, never mind. And if you want to fill with the foreground color, in this case black, you can do Alt Backspace. But I'm doing Control. And there we go, we filled it with green. And for like quality of life things, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to erase a pixel here for my border. Oh no, I filled it. But that's fine. That's fine. And most of the time what I do is I create a separate layers for borders and colors, but you don't need to do that. That's just like for like really special case scenarios, but you like 99% of the time don't need to do that. I just do it. I usually separate my colors and borders, but you don't got to. So I'm not going to worry about that here. And I thought this pixel, yep, this pixel. Gonna get rid of that because nope, I don't want to look for 1 pixel every time I change the color. And here we go, here's a nice Jamaica. And now if you want to just add the name of Jamaica, I want it to be fancy. I want my Jamaica text to look nice. So I'm going to click the pen tool. I'm going to set the fill type to empty, nothing. And then I'm going to click a point here, and I'm going to click a point somewhere else. And then by moving the mouse, I can change the curvature of this line. And this line's basically going to control how our text curves. So there's the line I'm going to use for the text. I'm going to click the text tool. And the font I'm using is Deja Vu Sans. And I'm going to be using the condensed bold version of the font. You can choose whatever font or whatever version of it you want. And you set the color of it to whatever you want. I'm going to set it to a white. And I'm going to set it to centered. If you set it to this, it's more difficult to like get the text where you want with the line. Not really. I do centered. I just like centered. And then I'm going to click the center of the line. Loading. Okay, it loaded the font. And you can change the pixel. And the pixel size doesn't matter really, because you can always resize the text after you type it. But it's good to get like a good size before you do it. And we're gonna type in. Okay. And I'm gonna click the line. Then we're gonna type in Jamaica. It looks a bit small, so you could change the pixel size to make it bigger if you want. You don't have to do this. You can resize it a different way. So here's my Jamaica, and then I'm going to click this little effect button down here. I'm going to click stroke, and I'm going to change the color of the stroke to black. And your stroke can be as big or small as you want. I usually do 2. But in cases when you have really small countries, maybe you just want to have a stroke of 1. 2 is my favorite, though. And I'm going to select 2. And you can't really see the 2 stroke in this, but it's always good to just have a little outliner between your text and color. And you can make it thicker if you want. And now, this old line object we made to get the text, we don't need it anymore. So you can just delete it by doing your delete button or right-clicking and pressing delete. Now we have Jamaica, and I want to change it a bit, so I'm going to click Free Transform, and I'm going to just make it bigger. And I'm going to rotate it. And yeah, there's Jamaica. Got text. You can change the stroke or whatever. Your choice. You could have each letter be a different color. I don't know why you'd want that. And yeah, that's the extreme basics for making a map. And like, you know, if you had countries fighting, you could get a bigger brush tool, do a different color, like that, whatever, and then, you know, just, and then just, you know, do the whole border thing and make a new frame for every time the color changes, and that's how you do the whole map thing. And if you want to be a little fancier than this, like, you want, like, the background to not be, like, you don't want, in case you don't want to just, like, fill in the background with blue to get, like, your ocean, you could, like, look for an ocean. You can just look for, like, an ocean texture or something. Top view. I want to find one to see if I can get one. And you can be whatever you want. It can, yeah, heck, you can even get it from Google Maps if you want. And that might be really simple to just get it from Google Maps. But yeah, it's like, looks more like a 3D model than like water. So I usually like to get like a water effect and add that. And you should check where you get it from, because, you know, it might be like a stock. It might be like you should pay for it. But you can always just ignore it. You can be like just fine with always like the little watermark stock images have, whatever. I won't judge. I usually try to find something that's like someone made it and it's supposed to be free. But in this case, it doesn't matter. I like this. I like this image. There we go. It has whatever. It has stocks, whatever. Open image in new tab. I'm gonna copy it and paste it in Photo P. Oof. It's kind of small, but you can always just duplicate it to fill out the space. And no one's really going to pay attention to your water, so it's really fine if you're this lazy about it. This is an example, and I'm not going to keep the water this ugly texture like this. I'm going to change it a bit, because like it's really obvious this is these water textures are stock images. So duplicate. So to get around it looking like just images, we can just add a color of water. We can choose the color of water we want. It could be whatever you want your water to look like. It's kind of hard to get a good color. Let's see, does this texture have any good water, like base watercolors I want? Not really. But maybe want a little brighter, more intense. But fine, it's a bit bright, but whatever. Then we're gonna add a new layer, Control Backspace, and then we're gonna change the opacity to get that texture in it. And now it's harder to see that spot texture, and now I got some water. However, there's a stark contrast between Jamaica and this water texture, right? Like usually you see the coast smooth out. So to get that like little extra niceness to it, we go to Jamaica, and yeah, I'm just gonna use the snipping tool again, whatever. To get, I want a bunch of water in case I need more. Control me that in. Yeah, I'm being really messy with my layers now, but that is what it is. Edit, free transform. Always scale it holding shift so you get the right scale. And I'm gonna need to zoom out a little for this. Edit, free transform. And I'm gonna put this above my borders layer, set the opacity a bit like this. There we go. And I need it to be a bit bigger. So edit, free transform again. And it's getting there. I think this is about right. It may not be. I think it needs to be a bit bigger or not. Again, it can be hard to tell when you're being as quick as I'm being for this. But but it's fine. It's all artistic liberties. So now that I got that, I'm gonna do this so it's below. And I'm gonna set the opacity to like, and then this water layer, I'm gonna I'm gonna click this and shift click the last layer and merge them so I have one water texture layer. Merge layers. And I'm gonna call it water texture. Then I'm gonna have a new layer, and this is gonna be like my water whatever layer. I'm gonna call I have a name for this usually, but I'm just it's not on my mind right now. And we're gonna use a different brush because this brush is just a circle. You want like this, or like a smudgy brush, whatever. Pick whatever brush you think would be best for your coast. And I think now, there we go. I'm gonna get what I want now. I'm gonna do like sand color, and look, that's way better. So now I just want a bit more control, and I do something like this. Get this to get a better idea, and just follow the coast. And I can just overlap if I want it to be a bit darker. I want this to be a good coast. And there we go. We got a nice coast. If I undo that, look at that. And then a eraser tool, and then we could do a different brush, like maybe this rough run, and you can just, oof, that's really rough. Smooth 0. Can we do like 50% smooth? Yeah, it's about the same. And just pick whatever brush you think would work best for your stats or whatever. Pick whatever brush you think would be best. And you can also use things like the smudge tool. They just use whatever tools you think would be best. I think I'm going to use the smudge tool to just smudge the borders a bit. Yeah. Make it a bit bigger. And then I want to get this overlay here to see. And Jamaica really doesn't have a coast. Like this little coast. I mean, it does, sorry. It doesn't really have like this little coast thing I'm doing here. Which is like, maybe you don't even want the coast because Jamaica's can't see. Like Australia, if, where's default states? Here we go. Like Australia. Yeah, these are a lot of layers to mess with. Ocean, go away. Australia, go away. Like you see, Australia has these like more defined like low coasts here. that's like more prominent, while Jamaica, like the coasts are not really that like just like under like the reefs, whatever. But you know what I mean. This like outline of the island that's in the water is really thin for Jamaica. Yeah. So, I'm using. What am I using? Smudge. Okay. So you don't need to have a coast if you don't want it. For me, Jamaica really doesn't need this coast, and I think I'm doing a pretty poor job with it. Don't worry, the Alternate Future series has a way better coast than this. Looks way better than this. So, if you're worried, don't be. This is, again, just an example, so I'm just doing this really quickly on the fly. I hope you guys make something way prettier than what I'm making here. So what, fine. Let's say I'm good with that coast. In reality, I hate this coast, but whatever. Let's say I'm good with it. This is what I want. This is my map. And here it is, and we're basically done. Now let's say you don't want to be a mapper, and I guess you just want to make art or something. Then, you do the same steps, except, focus more on your coast and your background. Have it not be this ugly glass water thing I picked. Again, sorry, it's doing quick. But maybe instead you want like the flag of Jamaica instead of this green color. So to do that, where's this layer? Oh no, don't tell me. It's okay, so don't use the SVG file. Just get the SVG file. Here it is. Just frickin' use snip tool. Bam, there it is. Got it. Also, this is really oh, I'm doing this to, oh my gosh, like, oh, guys, I swear I'm not doing this when I'm doing the real series. Oh, please don't unsubscribe. Okay, here's the flag, finally. Finally, it's here. Oh, I'm just new to Photopea. Okay. And I just want to see. Yeah, that's, free transform. I want a bit more of the flag in, like, Jamaica. Just enough to, like, get Jamaica in. And I want to, like, center it with Jamaica. Need to be a bit bigger. Center. Bam. Perfect. Okay, so we did that. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call it, like, flag version. And I'm going to hide the border version. And the good news is, since the flag version, since we have the screen already, I can just disable contiguous and just click it with the magic wand, and I'll select all of the green for me. And then I just press delete, and then the color's gone. And then I select inverse, and then I select the flag layer, then I press delete, and that leaves me just with the Jamaican flag with the island, and then I can show. I think I still have the stroke, right? Yep. So it's all there. This is how Jamaica looks with the flag instead of the green. And bam, that's Jamaica. And that's the end of this video. I hope you learned something from it, if anything. And thanks for watching.